My name is Joe Vaverkchek. I'm the attendance director here for the district. I've been in this position for about 17 years, working on attendance, and then I was also brought in to be the McKinney-Vento homeless liaison for the district. Every district in Connecticut should have a liaison such as myself to work on these areas and work and follow the law, the McKinney-Vento Act. Children and youth who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. So again, the main thing to remember is permanent versus temporary. Okay? If you're temporary, you're going to be identified homeless under the McKinney-Vento. And then, of course, you are going to, we don't have a lot of kids that are living in motels, hotels, trailer parks. Ours is under what's called a doubled up code. Doubled up is when we were talking before, kids are bouncing around. They're in one house for a couple months, and then because the situation has changed, they have to move out again, and they bounce to another house. That's considered doubled up. That is the large majority of our number of kids in New Britain that are affected by this. I mean, you think what we have here, well, we're nothing. I mean, compared to areas out in California or in the South, what they're facing, But we do have a large amount of kids under the law here based on what our population is. We've identified over 300 kids on a yearly basis.
And that's
identified.
From high school and...
That's the whole district.
Okay.
Over many years now, based on this law. We work with the children, of course, but it's mostly working, with the families, trying to get the families on board. The biggest issue we have is getting these kids into school as soon as possible, and identifying the kids, whether it comes from the school district, from the school itself. It could be a secretary that might know about this. It could be a principal, assistant principal, a guidance counselor, a social worker. We need to know what's going on with the family, and then I can assist the family. We do have signs up around. A lot of times there's signs that could be in churches and other buildings that speak about the law and to contact myself. But it's basically it's that word of mouth coming from the school. Everybody needs to be on board of what's going on. And a lot of our parents will come to the school and say, I have moved under these circumstances. You just have to keep your eyes and your ears open. Is different. We don't know exactly what's caused this homelessness effort, but the large majority of the families, once they do know we can give assistance, they'll come and look for the assistance. And our schools are great. Our school social workers are tremendous at what they do when they find that these kids need something, and they'll call me and say, Joe, can I get some clothing? And they'll come over here and I will provide them with the clothing and things that kids might need. Teachers are informed when the students are identified. Keep an eye on it. Teachers also have to be aware, and schools people have to be aware. There's signs. There's some signs about what could be causing homelessness. You might have a student that is acting out with behaviors, strange behaviors. Here's a kid who's never said boo, and he's acting out. Should set off a red flag. Something's going on. Sometimes we see a lot of the students, they're sleeping. They're falling asleep in class. That's another huge symptom. A lot of times you might see the hygiene as a symptom. There's a lot of symptoms that set off the flags. That's when the teacher should make the social worker aware of this, and then we get together and see what we can do to assist them. And I would advise them, one, to get their school social worker involved. I would invite them to ask if they could meet with the parent, just to find out what else other situations are going on at home or where they're staying, to include the social worker with that, to see where the child might be lacking in some academic areas, and if there's areas that we can provide some extra help after school or some tutoring, that would be another way to advocate for the child. Because you can't punish a child if they're homeless. In-school health clinics now. We have one at Smalley School
Yeah, that's where I work.
Okay, and we also have one at Roosevelt Middle School. We also have one at our high school, New Britain High School, which can also help out. So if they come in and they need shots, their immunization shots, we can get it taken care of immediately. Again, we can't stop any child that comes into our school that doesn't have records, that doesn't have school records, that doesn't have their immunizations. We can't say you cannot enter school. They can enter school that day and be in a seat that day. And that is enforced. That has to be enforced via the law. We also help them. We have what's called a Road to Recovery Center here that I started about over 3 years ago, where through some grants and outside funding, I have 3 components of hygiene supplies, school supplies, and clothing supplies. It could be uniforms or it could be other things that when we get somebody that's in a homeless situation or on the verge of becoming homeless, we're able to support them with some of these items. Those are the 3 biggest component items across the country that these homeless kids could use. One of the things that I've always liked to do for the kids is to get them something brand new. A lot of our kids don't have brand new things. They share things. And you know, not that say used things aren't good, of course they are. But seeing our kids and how they react to getting something brand new, it's like Christmas, they're getting a toy. I don't care if it's a pack of pencils. If it's in a cellophane wrapper and they're theirs, that's theirs, that's their piece. So, you know, what I do is through grants, and through some donations, we've gotten donations. We actually, the district does a bowl-a-thon that's happening next Saturday. All the proceeds through our raffles will be going to the Road to Recovery Center. I've worked with the State Department Office of Policy and Management on McKinney-Vento grants. Actually, not the State Department on McKinney-Vento grant itself, but through attendance grants. With OPM, Office of Policy and Management, where I tie in the attendance piece into the homeless piece. Consider it successful. Again, I know what we're doing as a district in New Britain to advocate for these kids, to provide that transportation, as hard as it is sometimes. We have one bus company that does these out-of-town routes, and it's very hard, and it's very costly. But it's something that I believe in and I enforce tremendously, that we get these kids back to school and we address the needs they have. So yes, I believe without a doubt it's successful. You hate to say it's successful because we're working with this population of kids, but what we're doing here as a district is special. I think it would be valuable if you actually maybe spend some time over at the Friendship Center to see what's going on. I do a walking tour with the Central students, with Dr. Werblow's class, and I've done it with a couple others, where we walk all around New Britain, and just to get a feel for where some of these kids could be living and what they might be facing. But I think just getting yourself aware of what's going on with these families, and you know, you don't want to say follow somebody or embarrass them, but once you see, you know, what's going on and how they're living, that's a valuable piece. Because right now you're opening up and you know there's a problem, you're seeing that, but you're looking at it with blinders on because you really don't know the root. You're never going to stop this from happening. You try to contain it as best you can.